Welcome back, guys, to another edition of the Go Onnit podcast. And today, I decided to switch it up with a guest in the wrestling world that's really not in the wrestling world. He's actually a very influential figure in the world of fitness right now, in my opinion, especially in the kettlebell world. If you've ever been interested in training kettlebells, I think this is the number one go-to guy to check him out and learn from him as far as kettlebell training goes. He is Eric Leija. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good, Angel. Thanks for having me on, man.
I appreciate the time. I just want to say, first and foremost, we appreciate you being on the Go Onnit podcast today. This is truly a privilege for us because a guy like yourself, you live the lifestyle of what it means to go earn it. You go after everything you set your mind on. And so the reason why I had you on is because not only to talk about what you have in store for the future, what you got going on with the Primal kettlebell training courses you do, just about the mindset of who Eric is himself. So if you could tell the listeners to start off, talk a little bit about where you're born and raised, a little bit of your backstory of how you grew up in this life.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm my ethnicity. I'm a Mexican. My parents are both from Mexico. My older brother, he was born in Mexico too. I grew up here in Austin, Texas. I have a sister too. She's super dope. But I was the youngest of three kids.
Sure.
But I was pretty much raised by my older brother. You know, I grew up hanging out with him all the time. He was 8 years older than me.
Yeah.
He's actually the reason that I got into fitness in the first place. You know, he used to he was always the guy who would work out all the time. He was super into wrestling and cage fighting, UFC,
Sure.
boxing. And so, growing up watching him, get into all that stuff kind of, brought on these cool connections. I got to meet a lot of UFC fighters and cool guys in the industry to where I kind of, started training in boxing and jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and I kind of, got into fitness that way. And then it's a long story,
No, that's fine. I just wanted to give the listeners a little backstory about, how you came up in this fitness world and everything. And like I said before, for listeners that don't know who Eric is, check him out on Instagram, social media. If you want to give a quick plug to tell listeners right off the bat, where we can find you, just so we
where
can.
I'm at right now is I'm at Onnit Academy in Austin, Texas.
Yep, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we get in the podcast. So,
I'm a kettlebell specialist, and I've been doing that for 4 years now. And I just launched my kettlebell course and full website with online subscription workouts, so you can pay $10 a month and follow along and do my workouts, which are a lot of the time mostly kettlebells, but I do incorporate a lot of other conventional stuff you see in the gym, like barbells and medicine balls, bodyweight training. I like to use anything that's going to help me reach my goals, especially when I'm on the go a lot, with work. I'll knock out a quick workout, like a heavy set of squats with some kettlebell snatches, back to back, quick workout, 20 minutes, so now you can follow along, ericleija.com, join me and, check it out. And my kettlebell course is on there, so you can learn all the kettlebell techniques that I like to use. And so that when you follow along with my workouts, it's a lot easier to just jump right in.
For sure. So yeah, listeners, go check out ericleija.com. I'm being completely honest, and this is not a plug or promotion. I wasn't here to hype up Eric's program, but I'm subscribing to his website and everything just because, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, he's the reason why I started kettlebell training, and this is the primary reason why I wanted Eric on because, we are a wrestling brand, a lifestyle apparel brand, but first and foremost, we always care about making sure these athletes are not only mentally prepared and motivated, but physically as well. And I think with kettlebell training, it's underutilized in the whole world. With kettlebell training, especially what I've learned, the reason why I honestly started kettlebell training is because I follow Onnit. I'm a big proponent of Onnit and the supplements and everything else they represent as a brand. And one time I saw you posted a kettlebell flow video, and I was like, man, I want to try that out. And for listeners that don't understand kettlebell training, it's a whole different beast. So, Eric, if I could, how did you get into Onnit itself, and where did that come into play?
All right, so that's where the kind of gets kind of into a long story.
Sure, yeah, we
But
got a
the
little
way
bit
I
of
got
time.
into Onnit, yeah, for sure. I'm excited to tell you about it. My so I told you my brother was a big influence in my life. Well, I was going to college, you know. I had just got in high school. I was going to college for like a semester. I fucking hated it. I hated going to school. I couldn't make any friends.
Yeah.
You know, I always liked working out growing up, and I ended up dropping out of school so I could go train with this kid. He was like up and coming UFC fighter, Hispanic fighter back in the day.
Sure.
And he was killing it, you know. And so I ended up just leaving school because, you know, I wasn't having a good time. You know, I was smart, I got good grades and stuff, but man, it just wasn't for me. So I ended up leaving with Roger up to Minnesota and went up there and trained with like a bunch of wrestlers like Sean Shirk and like all these guys up there at the academy, this like MMA gym up there.
Yeah.
And I kind of just like immersed myself in the whole, you know, like fighting like community. You know, I spent like a couple months up there just grinding and, you know, just getting beat up, sparring with all these professional fighters. And I really learned, you know, like that, you know, fitness wasn't just like, or like being physically fit for me was, you know, a lot more, like the highest intensity, the highest level was doing it with these guys, you know, and the way they did it. And then so for me, you know, watching the way they train, they use all kinds of unconventional, you know, training techniques. You know, besides just sparring and wrestling and fighting all the time, they also did, you know, a lot of road work, a ton of, you know, strength and conditioning drills that were nothing like I had ever experienced before. And kettlebells were, you know, one of the tools that they like to use a lot. And I saw it in a lot of the gyms that I traveled to while I was out there.
Yeah.
And so that's when I first got exposed to it. Like, that wasn't the first time, but it was the time where I finally realized, like, man, you know, this stuff is actually, you know, good. Like, these fucking tough-ass guys are, you know, swinging these bells around, getting quick work out of it, and, you know, doing everything else at the same time. You know, maybe I should incorporate it, see if I can, you know, get some benefit out of it.
Yeah.
And so that's when I kind of started incorporating into my routines. And so after, you know, I hung out with Roger and those UFC fighters.
Roger Huerta?
Yeah, Roger.
Oh, okay. I was wondering because you said UFC. A little backstory on myself. I wrestled all my life, and I just was the biggest MMA UFC nerd. I loved watching it. It was just a great. It's just such a great sport to follow.
Yeah.
Not because it's, you know, a gritty like barbarian sport. Like, these guys are at the highest level of athleticism, giving it all. Just to get either knocked out, submitted, or do that to somebody. So it's incredible to watch that sport. So yeah, that's cool, man. You got you're friends with Roger Huerta, he's coming back soon, actually, too.
Yeah, he's fighting, I think, Friday.
Yeah, Ben Henderson. That's gonna be a good fight, man.
Yeah, man. We're stoked.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So yeah. Anyways, go ahead with the story about meeting up.
I got to hang out with him. I got to see, you know, what these guys put themselves through. And, you know, I realized, man, I got to switch up my training. You know, I used to like barbell lift, you know, and like train for hypertrophy and like getting swole, you know, which is cool. You know, I want to, you know, get girls, find a girlfriend, whatever, you know, look cool. But I want to be fucking functional too. I want to be able to defend myself, you know, be applicable to sport, you know, and also prevent injury as well, you know, not just train in one plane all the time. You know, just one single movement. You know, you got to mix it up. You got to try like different ranges of motion that, you know, you got to mix it up. Otherwise, if you do the same thing over and over again, you're not only just going to be good at one thing, but then you're probably going to end up getting hurt. You know, develop a dysfunction from just repeating the same movement patterns. So that's when I, you know, realized, like, man, you know, these guys are high level and they're mixing it up all the time. So that's when I started incorporating into my routines. And so anyways, yeah, I came back down from Minnesota. We went down to like South Texas. He fought in some fight organization. I forgot what it was. Yeah. But after that, you know, I was like, man, what am I going to do now? He ended up going to Thailand. doing this thing out there. And so I was like, well, shit, I dropped out of school. What should I do now? I kind of came back to reality.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of became really good friends with Aubrey. Aubrey Marcus is the CEO of Onnit.
Yep.
Yeah, my boss. He was really good friends with my brother. We're all like close group of friends with Roger and like, it was Roger, my brother, Aubrey, and Sean. He's another coach at the Onnit Academy.
Yeah.
We're all really good friends, growing up. And so me and Aubrey kind of connected on some on some like spiritual level stuff.
Sure.
And he had like this blog going on at the time about like psychedelics and like shamanism and like opening up and like spiritual work.
Yeah.
And so he brought me on kind of as an apprentice, and I learned a ton of stuff from him. And I spent about 6 months kind of being his like apprentice,
little Jedi.
Yeah, pretty much. Just kind of learning from him, stuff about business, stuff about life and work. And he ended up giving me a job at Onnit.
That's awesome.
But it was before we had a gym.
Yeah, it was before Onnit got. Onnit, for listeners that don't know, Onnit. Onnit's been around for a couple years now, but they've really hit their stride with their brand and growing as not only just supplements, they're into everything as far as fitness goes. And so now if you check out Onnit compared to 5 years ago, it's like night and day. And so what Aubrey's built off the back end is incredible, because that's one of my goals, is to go down to Austin and check out the Onnit gym. It's an incredible facility.
Oh, man, you'll love it, man.
Yeah. So you start with Aubrey. You're under his mission and guidance. Yeah. And so where does the whole implementing kettlebell training go into? Like for me, when did Primal Swoledier, for listeners that don't know, check out Eric's Instagram profile. He's Primal Swoledier. Where did that persona come into play?
Well, we started carrying our like Primal Edition kettlebells.
Yep.
I used to work. I got a job in the warehouse.
Yeah.
So I was working in the warehouse in fulfillment, like, cutting battle ropes, packing supplements in boxes, all that stuff, and packing kettlebells all day, So it was cool, lifting weights all day, shooting the shit with my friends. I got to work with a lot of my friends.
Right.
And so we would work out in the small gym that we had at the time. It was a small classroom that was dedicated to employees. So we'd go in there after work, go work out together, and my brother, who didn't work for Onnit at the time, he would come in and work out too.
Right.
And, he was good friends with Aubrey, so we would all work out there together. And he started hosting like classes and group trainings for local people here in Austin. And then eventually it grew so big to where we had like UFC fighters like Roger, or not Roger at the time, Roger was gone, but like other friends that we had who were also fighters.
Yeah.
They would all come in and work out in the gym. And then we realized, like we want to, like, we have all the tools. We're trying to optimize people's lives on every level. What better way to, share that knowledge than to educate people?
Yeah.
So we're like, you know what? Let's open a gym. Let's open a gym so that we can start an education system and show people how to use these tools that we're selling. Because we always believed, if you, switch up your training and use like maces, clubs, battle ropes, not only are you making it, a more fun workout, you're also adding a variety to your training, which is, it's good to make better gains and, keep your body healthy. And so we opened up a gym a couple years after I was working in the warehouse, and Aubrey approached me. He's like, "Hey man, I know you love fighting, you love, you're always fit, why don't you pick one of these tools and, go all in."
Wow.
And just fucking learn everything you can,
master it. Yeah.
Yeah, and just go for it. Go get it.
And then you didn't look back then.
Didn't look back, man. I just put in the time, the reps, and just, made it a part of my lifestyle. And honestly, I've never been this strong, this conditioned.
Yeah.
Like, there was times where I was, I had an MMA fight and I had like a kickboxing match, where I like try to peak myself to my top performance,
Right.
man, I was nowhere near as I am now.
Right. Yeah. Just
And
with the style of training too,
yeah,
even when I started following you a while back on like Instagram and your posts, the transition just from the training and the flows and the different level intensity that you put into everything you had, it was crazy. It was like a huge transition. You went from just simple, complex, kettlebell exercises to these crazy flows that, for me, myself, I'm just trying to get a hold of just going from a clean to a jerk to, for
yeah.
you got a whole flow down, and you got different flows. And so for you, how long do you think it took before you started realizing that you're really mastering your craft in kettlebells?
Man, I still feel like I haven't. I feel
Right.
like I'm
Okay.
constantly still trying to get better,
Yeah.
still trying to, and you never. I feel like I'm never gonna be, you know, like I mean, technically, yeah, whatever. I'll be
Yeah.
really good, but I feel like it's really hard to be the best.
Yeah,
It's
because
like,
with kettlebells, it's
or,
kind of like it's not comparable, but you can say that kettlebell training is kind of like jujitsu or wrestling, where you just
yeah,
there's never a level of where you reach. There's no ceiling,
yeah. There's
especially
just
all
another
the
area that you're focused on.
yeah,
So it's the key is to, just do as much as you can, and whatever your goals are at the time.
yeah,
Yeah, do your best to keep drilling and, get good at that. That way you end up having like a good base, that you can kind of like pull from
sure,
and, you're able to achieve your goals, whether you're wrestling or boxing,
yeah,
your go-tos, your automatic responses are,
right,
they're effective for you. So that's why in my training, I try to mix it up as much as I can, but I have certain goals, depending on the time of year.
sure,
If I'm trying to like put on some muscle size, put on some strength,
yeah,
or try to tone up or whatever.
yeah.
Uh, it's all mastering the kettlebell is it's a continuous thing, or mastering anything really.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm constantly trying to gain as much as I can from any tool. Trying to innovate, make do something different with it.
Yeah, that's a good segue into the course you started and you came out with about a month ago now. What did you say? How long has it been out now? A couple weeks, a
2 months
month,
now.
2 months?
Yeah, this last weekend.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
we launched it on Super Bowl Sunday.
yep, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that way,
So so
still.
let's talk about the launch of that. Tell listeners about what the Primal course is, how it came about, and what's actually in it, and how our listeners, people that are interested in getting your course, what is something that you think that they should take away from listening to this podcast to go check out the course.
All right, so my Primal Kettlebell course, it came about after. So here it is, the Primal Kettlebell course. It includes all the like fundamental exercises that I like to use pretty much in all my training sessions.
Sure.
Like, I mean, not all my training sessions are 100% kettlebell.
Right.
A lot of them are, just because for me, the versatility of kettlebells and, how easy it is to not have to rack a shitload of weights up, just
Yeah.
a couple kettlebells, knock out a badass workout.
That's what's nice too about, not to cut you off, but with with kettlebell training, the reason why I hype it up so much is because you need 5x5 space, and
Yeah.
you need only 2 or 3 kettlebells, and you can get your ass kicked just by those 3 kettlebells.
Yep.
And every type of workout you can imagine, whether it's
Yep.
squats, whether it's chest, whether it's back, whether it's anything, you can
weight with a handle on it,
right,
you do whatever you
exactly.
want.
And so the challenging part is making sure that you're maintaining not only mobility, but your balance, your strength, your cardio. Because if you want to get shredded, I'll tell you what, kettlebells is the way to go. You want to get strong, kettlebells is the way to go. You want to lose weight, kettlebells is the way to go. You can use a kettlebell for anything. Unfortunately, with a bench bar or a dumbbell, there's not much you can do with that specific equipment for a variety of different exercises. With a kettlebell, you can do everything. So in this,
and you can use the kettlebell to assist you with any, like if you're trying to get stronger at a barbell lift,
right?
like if that's your goal, if you're like a strong man or you're a weightlifter,
Yeah,
there's huge carryover and doing kettlebell techniques
Right.
and grip, mobility that can increase your, your big lifts.
Yeah, that's why I think
So
it's
that's the dope
huge.
part.
It's huge for because I myself, about up until about 6-7 months ago when I went all in with kettlebell training, I was doing your standard, bodybuilding workouts, your strength lifting workouts, your bench, your squat, your deadlifts. But I was realizing that I was starting to hit plateaus, just because the workouts get boring, the repetitiveness of 4x8, bench press or whatever it may be. I was just getting stuck, and so I started using kettlebells, and I was getting stronger, and it made no sense to me because I switched up
Yeah.
my workout routine from going to benching 315 for reps. Instead, I was focusing on pushing a 80-pound dumb or a kettlebell off my chest and focusing on real strength that is going to isolate my
Yeah.
chest. And so when I started learning all these moves, shed light on how important it is for like a wrestler, especially in our world, how they can use a kettlebell in such a drastically different way than their standard. These college programs, they don't hype up kettlebells because most of them don't either utilize them or have them. How would you recommend like somebody like an athlete, like a wrestler, to use kettlebells?
Well, first off, in wrestling, you're in all kinds of positions. You're
Correct.
not sitting on your back, pressing a
Right.
weight, or you're not always going to be on your back pressing somebody off of you. Usually you're on your back, you're done, you lose, right?
Yeah.
So, or in a squat position, or you're picking the person up like a deadlift, like you're going to be in all kinds of chaotic situations where honestly, like the kettlebell, you can take that and hold it in pretty much any position you want.
Yeah.
So you can access different positions and develop strength and new ranges of motion that are not as easily accessible with a barbell. They're accessible,
Sure.
but they take like a landmine attachment,
Mm-hmm.
or you need a whole rack, or you need bands,
Yeah.
or you need all kinds of stuff to kind of add this variety or this chaotic imbalance
Yeah.
where you can train for sport or for chaos training.
Mm-hmm.
So the kettlebell, all it is a weight with a handle on it, so you can take it into a lunge position, to the floor, to a snatch, and more realistically and quickly adjust your positions as you would in a sport like wrestling or football, or anything that requires change of direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, if you're a wrestler or a combat athlete,
Yeah.
using kettlebells is super beneficial for you because, you can access different positions and add load to them, which you usually can't with a lot of other tools.
Yeah. I actually, I'm gonna look into getting, the kettle jiu-jitsu guy. You ever seen his videos before? He's out of California. He incorporates I'm looking to get him on too because it's interesting. He kind of does what you do, but I mean, you take it at a different level and you do it in a different way. But for him, he incorporates, body movements with kettlebell training.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, and I'm not lying when I say this, in my opinion, I think it's more a fact. Kettlebell training is the most underutilized style of training in all sports combined. You're just starting to hear about it, and I hear about it now because Onnit has brought light to fitness equipment. I myself, which I was excited to tell you, I just got confirmation that I got my Darth Vader kettlebell in the mail, so it's sitting at home right now.
Oh, hell yeah, there you go.
So I got
Congrats, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I've been meaning to ask you real quick. What do you think the most useful lift I should use for that kettlebell? Would it be like a deadlift or a squat? What do you think?
How much does it weigh again?
It's a 70-pound one, so
Man.
I'm not going to be doing any swings or nothing crazy, but
you can push press it.
Yeah.
You can snatch 70 pounds. You're strong.
Yeah. I've done that.
It's definitely heavier work, like powerful, explosive training will be good for 70 pounds. That's what I use 70s for usually.
Yeah, I saw you with that Stormtrooper, with some of the posts on your Instagram page. Now, I want to ask, so listeners that have never tried kettlebells, just some common questions maybe that they might come across. For a beginner, what weight do you recommend for like a kettlebell swing? The most basic, I'd say standard movement that kettlebells are, that you use with a kettlebell swing. What kind of weight are we talking, do you think, for anybody?
Usually, yeah, with anybody, I always start people, with a lightweight,
Yeah.
you know. But the thing is, with the swing, it's a very like a powerful movement.
Yeah.
So if you don't like use a heavy enough weight, you can kind of like muscle it.
Yeah.
Which is what you don't want to do. You don't want to like use your upper body to like
Yeah.
lift it up, shoulder raise it.
Yeah.
So I usually, most of my clients, I start them off with, if it's a female, at least a 12-kilo kettlebell, like a 25
Yeah.
to 35-pound kettlebell.
Yeah.
Men, like at least 30 pounds, man.
Yeah, when I first started training,
50 pounds.
I knew that it was a serious style of training that you can easily get hurt doing. So I started with just 30 pounds for a couple months just swinging, just getting the hang of swinging. And
get that movement down.
For my question, I'd say is the most common mistake I've started to learn with kettlebell training, because when you go to the gym, people try to do the things that you start doing, and you're like, all right, dude, you're not doing the swing correctly. What would you recommend for a tip for kettlebell swings? Is it more or less letting the weight guide between your legs, or keeping stable with your hips? What would you say?
So my thing is like, you want to keep your spine as neutral as you can under load like that. It's like you're doing a heavy squat, heavy deadlift. The swing is not as heavy, but it's a powerful, explosive movement. And if you jerk too fast with a flex spine, your shoulders rounded, you can seriously hurt your low back. It's one of the biggest things you hear. I feel it in my back. My back's tight.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see a lot of guys that they think they know what kettlebell training is. If you don't take some serious time to train, and you just walk in a gym and you pick up a 45, 50-pound kettlebell and you start swinging that thing and you don't know what you're doing, good luck walking in the morning, because you're gonna really injure your back.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you learn how to create proper tension, like keeping your core tight, using your breath. I like to, condition my clients and my athletes to learn proper breathing, which is what I go into in my course, which is diaphragmatic breathing.
Right.
Being able to
breathing from your stomach.
Yeah, breathing deep down into your lungs. You're using your diaphragm to contract and expand your belly in all directions, so that you kind of make your whole core like a strong trunk. Like the same principle why weightlifters use weight belts. It's not for the support of the belt, but it's for that tactile information that you're pressing into something and you're expanding your belly strong enough to where you can really brace.
Oh, I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah, so you inhale, make your belly as big as you can, and then you brace your core around it. Your entire core, your low back, your obliques, your abs, and you brace it, and then you breathe through that brace and keep that locked in. And then from there, if you can keep that core tight, you can protect your low back. Yeah. Set your shoulders by engaging your lats.
Sure.
As long as you have that long spine, your spine is nice and strong, your structure safe. Then from there, you can kind of play around,
right,
and then start practicing that swing.
Yeah.
Because the swing is very, there's a lot of momentum going on and a lot of power. So when you're swinging that weight, I make sure at the top of the rep, I get my hips through, I squeeze my glutes, I stand tall, I keep that structural integrity, that long spine, that core tight, and I let the weight float instead of trying to muscle it up and shoulder raise it. I relax my arms. I just make sure that my shoulders are nice and tucked.
Yeah.
And then I let the weight fall back down, and I stay as tall as I can.
Right.
I don't try to follow that weight forward.
Yeah.
That puts me in danger of fucking my back up.
Right.
So I stay tall. I wait for the bell, and I only bend over when that bell is connected to my hips.
Yeah. I try to.
A lot of people don't do it like that, but for me, I feel like it's the safest position, having that weight under the rest of my spine, the rest of the weight of my body. If it's too far out in front of me and I try to bend over with it, I feel like I put my low back in danger.
I like how when you do some of your kettlebell swings, especially if they're heavier, I notice that you'll have it set in place like you're snapping a football, and then as you activate your hips, you swing through and then bring your hips out. A lot of people try to like you said, they'll try to push it between their legs and then use their shoulders to bring it back up, and then they're creating that tension in their back where, that's not how it's supposed to be done. You're supposed to let that weight come through like you're snapping a football and let that weight momentum come, and then your hips and your hamstrings, that brings all that power back up.
Yeah, you want to use all the posterior, all your back muscles, hamstrings, butt, your upper back. You want to keep that low back stable with that core.
Right.
And you'll feel it there a little bit. That's why I have, strong erectors, but it's because I keep them locked in.
Right.
I'm not, putting them under load and trying to, flex.
Yeah.
I keep them tight.
Yeah.
And I keep that upper back tight, make sure it's straight, and everything else, I hinge at the hips.
Sweet.
You got to think about, I keep my knees soft so that I can drive my ass back.
Mm-hmm.
And I can really load the hamstrings.
Yeah.
So my butt goes back and my back stays straight, and then I snap it forward after I create all that tension with that bell underneath my butt as I go through the backswing.
Yeah.
I stretch the hamstrings, load the glutes, and then I press the floor down and snap it up.
Yeah.
But I generate all that force with the posterior. I try not to muscle it up with my arms.
Force that weight. So another question I got for you, and something that I've always wondered about you because I've never seen you actually use them. Is it useful for somebody in kettlebell training to use wraps, or is it really just all kind of a hyped up myth that you don't really need wraps? What's your opinion? Because I don't think I've ever seen you use wrist guards. What's your opinion on them?
If you're like afraid of getting bruises.
Yeah.
And, like,
is the wrist guard more or less just for, a little protection? Or is
it's for a little protection.
Okay.
Especially if you're doing, like if you're doing for sport and you're like going for super high reps.
Yeah.
And, you're experiencing discomfort.
Yeah.
And you can't train without it, hurting, then I'm not against it.
Right.
But it's mostly for pain and discomfort.
Okay.
And for protection from, hurting the wrist.
Yeah, because I've seen some people use them.
It shouldn't hurt. If you're smooth with the kettlebell and you really learn to spiral the kettlebell around your wrist instead of flipping it over and banging your wrist, it shouldn't, you should be able to, it shouldn't hurt.
Right.
But, if you're having problems getting that down and you still want to swing some kettlebells, then it's all right to use a wrist guard until you get the technique down. But eventually, you should stop babying your forearms and, just try to get that technique down.
Build that strength in your arms too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, sure.
All right, well, we got a couple more minutes with Eric Leija, and we are on the Go Onnit podcast. Eric, I just want to ask now, you just launched your website fully, subscription courses. Let's talk a little bit about that before we sign off on the Go Onnit podcast. Tell the listeners about what they can expect from checking out your website and possibly, subscribing to your program.
Awesome. So I have a kettlebell course. It's $99 right now, but it's got so much value to it.
Yeah.
It's got over 150 HD follow-along videos where I explain, like, basically my whole arsenal of, like, go-to not all of them. I always come up with some new shit.
Sure, yeah.
But most of the stuff that I use pretty much daily, is in that course.
Yeah.
I'll show you how to do all my favorite squat variations, deadlifts, cleans, snatches.
Yeah.
All the good stuff, ab stuff. I go through beginner, intermediate, and advanced techniques.
Yeah.
And after I show you all the basics, and the basics doesn't mean they're easy. I show you, all those levels. I show you all those movements, and then I show you some of my favorite combinations, which are what I call flows.
The flows, yeah.
And then I show you some complexes. I'll show you like 10 of each. So I got about 20 videos that you can use as workouts.
Now, are you in the videos? Is it kind of like, and I don't mean to say that this is what it's like, but those P90X videos, are you breaking down the moves and then you're going into like a 30-minute workout where people can watch you do the workout as they're doing it themselves, or is it more or less instructional first and then a little snippet of how you do it, and then the person goes and does it themselves? How does that work?
So on the flows and the follow along flows and complexes, I take you through one round with instructional of all my favorite flows and complexes are longer, pretty much like a longer flow. Yeah, I do like 3 movements of one rep followed by 3 movements of another rep. Yep. Back to back. On the flows, it's usually one movement followed by, a single rep of a few other movements.
Yeah.
Chained together into a seamless flow.
Right.
So I teach you all the movements, and I give you a follow-on instructional for one round of every exercise.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then I show you some of my favorite warm-ups, some body weight flow movements, some animal flow stuff that I love to use, and some decompression so you can recover after your kettlebell training or just your normal workouts. And I also include a 4-week workout program too. So
awesome.
Take all that kettlebell knowledge you learned and do a all kettlebell and body weight based workout for 4 weeks.
Awesome.
So the whole thing is, I'm hoping people can, increase their knowledge base of all my kettlebell techniques so that they can get my subscription for $10 a month and just jump right in with my day-to-day training.
Yeah.
Which consists of all kinds of stuff, full gym workouts. Some days it's all kettlebells. Some days it's body weight and kettlebells. Some days it's a heavy lift followed by, kettlebells. I like to mix it up, and it's super scalable for, whatever you're working with.
What I like about you too is, if listeners are a little skeptical about, kettlebell training, if you don't want to buy into his subscription right now or, the Primal course he has, do me a favor and go check out his Instagram page because he provides plenty of value and knowledge just by all of his posts. Because honestly, I haven't gotten my subscription yet, which I will after this. But I learned all the I learned all the knowledge through just watching you on Instagram. I have on Instagram page you can save to a collection of posts that you could save on your own. Dude, half of my saved collection is you and your kettlebell flows, and I just literally mimic those flows. I nail them, and then I incorporate them in my workouts. So, I don't really work out. I don't really work out anymore like I used to. A lot of people notice that too. They're like, "Why are you all on this kettlebell, phase?" I'm like, dude, kettlebells are a life changer for me because, the way people lift, it's repetitive, and that's how injuries happen. But with kettlebells, especially with the flows, man, like you think, doing a chest workout. Arm pump workout. Dude, people ask like, dude, how are you getting so fit? I'm like, kettlebells, man. Like you can still get a cut body still from doing kettlebells if you just utilize the knowledge and take time to learn. Dude, kettlebells are so fun because you could switch it up. And what's nice about going to the gym for me, I don't have to worry about a rack. What I do is I go to the turf, I grab a 35, 220s, and maybe like a 90-pound kettlebell, and I'm doing 3 different circuits. Yeah, that's all it is,
What's up?
So, man, I can go on and talk to you for hours, but let's keep this short and simple.
We can do it again, man. Whenever.
I look forward to coming down there, man. My last two questions for you. The first one is, if somebody's looking to get certified and be like a Onnit, either personal trainer or like a kettlebell master, you want to talk a little bit about that before we head out?
Yeah. So I help teach the Onnit Academy kettlebell specialist certification.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of information. Me and master kettlebell coach Marcus Martinez, we get together. He's a kettlebell exercises on Instagram if you want to check him out.
Yep.
Kettlebell exercises. He's got tons of content as well.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for over 15 years. He's more experienced than me.
Yeah.
And he's really fucking strong too.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
I learn from him all the time, man. Every time, we teach a cert together, he teaches me something new.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure he learns stuff from me, but he's we join forces at these certs for 2 days, 8 hours each day. Usually on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, we teach you all the stuff you need to know, all the fundamentals to learn how to start flowing on your own and building your own workouts.
That's awesome.
So if you want to do that, go to onnit.com/certifications.
Yeah.
Or just Google Onnit Academy certification, and you'll see our certs coming up.
Awesome,
We've got one coming up in Chicago, June 2nd and 3rd, and in Austin at Onnit.
Are you going to be in Chicago?
Yeah, I'll be in Chicago.
Count me in. I'm going to see you there.
Hell yeah!
I'm from Chicago. We're going. Its headquarters it's Rockford, Illinois, right outside Chicago. So I'll make sure I book time to go out and visit you and meet you.
Yeah, man. I'll send you the link. I'll send you everything. We'll link up.
Sounds good, man. So
man.
my last question, Eric, and I always ask this on the Go Earn It podcast. When somebody tells Eric Leija he has to go earn it, what does go earn it mean to him and his mindset?
For me, it means just not being afraid to do whatever I gotta do to get what I want.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there that can't do it anymore, or are too scared to do it.
Yeah.
And I want to do it for those who can't and those who won't. And so for me, I'm gonna go get what I want so I can do it, not just for myself, but for those that can't and those that won't.
Awesome.
Because somebody's got to do it, man. So
hell yeah.
You got to do it. Whatever it is your goals are, just commit to it. Go 100%.
Awesome. Well, Eric, you said it perfect, man. One last time, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. We appreciate it. This will all go out tomorrow, Thursday. And Eric, where can we find you? Tell the listeners where we can get
check me out at
everywhere.
ericleija.com.
Yep.
And you can check out my social media at Primal Swoledier.
Yep.
Primal.Swoledier. And yeah, man, hit me up if you need anything. If you need any advice, you can check out my kettlebell course if you want to learn how to, use kettlebells like I do.
Yep.
And my daily workouts just launched for $10 a month.
Yep.
If you want to work out with me and do what I do and jump right in, ericleija.com. I'll be there, or email me. My email's on there too. Eric@ericleija.com. If you guys have any questions, any certification questions, same thing. Just hit me up on the email and whatever you need, guys.
Awesome.
It's a pleasure.
Well, that is another edition of the Go Earn It podcast. Thank you, Eric, for your time. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot, Angel.